What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another War Within video. Hope you're all doing very well. It is late at night. It's like 1 in the morning here, but huge patch notes just dropped right now. They're the ones we were waiting for since the Race to World First is now over, and we're going to go over the patch notes in detail. Going to talk about some specific buffs and nerfs that I'm seeing here that are pretty important. So let's just dive right into it. Yo, I really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe on the video. I gotta get some coffee. Bye. We're gonna start with Frost DK. All ability damage up by 4%. I think this is good for Frost. I don't think it's gonna move Frost above Unholy, but seeing Unholy DK in a lot of my keys, primarily because of Blood Beast, right? The Blood Beast explodes, it does like 40 million damage, and then suddenly, suddenly you're laughing as an Unholy DK. So I don't think this is going to change whether or not you see a Frost DK versus an Unholy DK. We'll have to see. I don't know. But that's just, yeah. Venge DH deflecting spikes now causes demon spikes to increase your parry by 10% instead of 15. This is such a weird change to me. Like, why is this a targeted change? What were the devs looking at that prompted them to change this one talent from 15 to 10? Like, somebody explain this to me, because I get it. Parry is really good when demon spikes is up as a vengeance, but I don't think this is going to destroy Demon Hunter and like take them out of the meta. So it's just strange, I guess. I don't quite understand it. Balanced Druid. Wrath damage up by 30%. Star Surge up by 5%. Elun's Chosen. Lunar Calling increases Starfire's damage primary attack by 160%. So this is like a really big buffs to Balanced Druid. A spec that, in my opinion, is already doing fine. I think the representation of Balanced Druid right now is actually good, especially in the higher keys. It's doing quite well. And everybody's doing the Elun's Chosen build, which takes the Lunar Calling thing. Now it's going to do 160% more damage to the primary target. That is wild. That is really good. You're never going to go into Solar Eclipse ever again, obviously, unless you're in Celestial Alignment. So very interesting changes. Obviously, single target, technically single target changes here. But good to buff that up. I guess if their single target was really bad, then it's not going to be as bad anymore, which is kind of good. Guardian Druid. Dreadful Wounds up by 20%. Empowered Shapeshifting increases swipes damage by 12%, Mangle by 25%. So big buffs to Druid of the Claw. I've seen only the Elun's Chosen Moon Bear. I haven't seen the Claw Bear. So whether or not we'll see one now, maybe. I mean, this is a big boost to your main ability that's proccing all the time. That's what you're going to be, your Maul turns into this Dreadful, or turns into that Ravage, right? So are we going to see more Claw Bears? I don't think so, because the Moon Bear is just so strong, but maybe this will push us towards there. Okay, Dev Evoker. This is pretty big. I've been playing Dev Evoker. I finally leveled one. I've been really excited about it because there's been that new Flame Shaper build that's floating around, and it looks really cool. That's why I started getting into it. And now we're going to look at what the changes are coming in here. Basically, they're nerfing the Narrowbar Palace tier set bonus because it's way too strong. And you're basically not supposed to switch into the new 4-piece from Undermine until much later in your item level increase, which is pretty stupid, right? It should be early on. So Devastation Evoker 4-piece now reduces the cooldown of Shattering Star and Eternity Surge by 1 second, was 4 seconds. So they completely gutted the Narrowbar 4-piece, okay? Now, the new 2-piece from Evoker Undermine casts Shattering Star at 100% effectiveness instead of 50, and it's going to proc 25% more frequently, which is really good. And you have 5% more of a bonus on the empowered spell afterwards. So this is quite cool. If you look at the bonus really quickly, look at Evoker. Getting a Shattering Star, as I'm starting to understand with Devastation, because I'm playing it, getting a Shattering Star is really good because it adds that extra 20% damage bonus to any of the mobs that got hit, on top of the fact that it does damage itself. Now, right now, the jackpot gives you a 50% effective Shattering Star, which means you only get the 10% increased damage bonus, I'm pretty sure. And of course, it only does 50% of the damage. Now, that's going to be buffed to be 100% effective. So you're going to get a full damage buff increase on the mobs. And then when your other spells come in, they're going to be like 20% stronger most of the time, because this is now also proccing more frequently, which is right here. So very strong buff to a spec that is already on the rise. and could see a lot more play now. I think Dev is slated to see a lot more play from people, seeing as Aug got nerfed pretty hard, right, last week. Let's look at the Aug buffs right here. So they're basically saying they're happy with the augmentation support capabilities, but obviously in the nerfing that they did, they nerfed the power of Aug significantly. So they're trying to put power back into Aug itself and the damage that you're doing as an Aug Evoker. So they're not buffing your support capabilities, no Eben Might stuff, just the damage of your spells is going up. So whether or not we're going to see more augmentation evokers because of that, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. With Dev being so strong now, I honestly highly doubt it. Prez Evoker. This is pretty cool. So again, the Nerebar Palace problem is here, just like with Dev Evoker. They're nerfing it. Here's what's interesting. They say the Nerebar tier set bonus was too strong, causing players to not want to equip the new one. We're reducing the Nerebar tier set effectiveness and buffing the Undermine tier set. In these notes, they do not say specifically what they're doing to buff the Undermine tier set. They tell you that they're nerfing the Nerebar tier set by basically cutting it in half. And then they say all healing up by 5%, Spirit Bloom up by 20%, Energizing Flame gives you more mana back, Disintegrate damage up by 25%, Living Flame damage up by 25%. No mention of what they're actually buffing on the Undermine tier set. So we're going to have to wait and see what they actually decide to buff here. I mean, whatever. Even just with all these changes, this is great. Nothing wrong with this at all. I'm just curious what they're actually going to buff on the Undermine tier set. But great changes for Prez as well. This is awesome. Okay, let's get into the Hunter stuff. This is pretty cool. I'm obviously very excited about Marksman Hunter. We'll get there in a second. BM Hunter is performing well. They're basically buffing Black Arrow. It now lasts for 14 seconds instead of 10, which is crazy. It's 40% longer. We're going to see this when we get to the Marksman one. Withering Fire now prioritizes enemies that do not have Black Arrow on them. That's really good. Mostly important when you're inside your cooldown and you're firing off extra Black Arrows, so they're not going to overlap onto a Black Arrow that's already there, which is really good. Fixed a bug preventing lead from the front from increasing pack leader Boar's damage. That I'll show that in a second. And then Withering Fire now fires 4 arrows instead of 2. This is nuts. So if we look really quickly at BM Hunter, the Withering Fire bonus at the bottom here means that you're going to fire 2 additional arrows whenever you cast Black Arrow. You're now going to fire 4 additional arrows. And then they're going to last for 14 seconds instead of 10 seconds. So when you fire 1 Black Arrow inside Call of the Wild, you're firing 5 Black Arrows, which is nuts. The damage is going to be there, and then they're going to be ticking and doing the ticking damage, which is going to proc Shadow Surge more often. You're going to be summoning the Shadow Hounds more often because the Black Arrows are going to be more Black Arrows are doing the ticking damage, so for longer. So very, very strong buffs, in my opinion. This line right here is insane. When you're inside your cooldown, holy cow, you're going to be getting so many Black Arrows. It's going to be crazy. So big changes for BM. Is this going to push them to play Dark Ranger over Pack Leader all the time? I don't know. I don't think so. Pack Leader's still quite strong. They're the boar, like the bear is doing so much damage. I don't think it's going to change that much, but we'll have to see. Maybe with this final note down here, it'll change it. Survival Hunter. We're increasing the frequency of the power of Pack Leaders summons for survival to help make them. So this is really crazy. I think there's some typos in here. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm pretty sure there's a typo here. Couple typos, actually. Number 1, all damage dealt going up by 4% for survival. Great. Dire summons kill command reduces the cooldown by 2 seconds was 1. That's this thing here. So this is really strong. Whenever you press kill command, you're reducing the time that it takes for your next beast to be summoned by 2 seconds instead of 1. It's doubling the effectiveness of this talent now for kill command. So like kill command, that's 6 seconds off the Howl of the Pack Leader, trying to get Howl of the Pack Leader back. That's a significant change that should not be underrepresented there. That is a really big change. Bear damage up by 40%, boar damage up by 40%. That's big. Howl of the Pack Leader duration reduced to 25 seconds was 30. This sentence doesn't make sense. Howl of the Pack Leader duration. Howl of the Pack Leader doesn't have a duration. Howl of the Pack Leader summons a beast for 15 seconds or for 10 seconds or the boar for 3 charges. Okay. I can't quite tell I think what they're trying to say here is that instead of every 25 seconds, it might go down to every 20 seconds. You'll summon another beast. But in this text, it says every they're taking it from 30 down to 25. It wasn't 25 to begin with, because you take Better Together, which takes it from 30 down to 25 already. So is it going to go from 25 seconds down to 20? Like every 20 seconds, you will summon a beast with Kill Command. And then, of course, with the extra cooldown reduction from Dire Summons, that's going to go down even more. So there's potential here. I think this is a typo, so I don't really know what it means yet. There's potential that you might be summoning a beast every like 15 seconds if you're pressing your kill commands, and like that would be nuts. Instead of every 25 seconds, it could go down to like every 15 seconds, which just means more beasts, more buffs, more damage. It's going to be quite good. So yeah. And then the lead from the front, it wasn't affecting the boar's damage. That's this thing here. So that's going to be buffed. Great. The boar is going to be doing more damage. Okay. Let's go to Marksman Hunter. Very excited about this. Look at the notes first. Dark Range performance is lower than we expected. Yeah, it was. So we're making some substantial tuning changes to bring them closer to what we expect. We'd like Phantom Pain to be a compelling source of damage and worth playing around in Mythic Plus, especially when combined with True Shot and Withering Fire. Boy, did they buff Phantom Pain. Holy moly. First of all, Explosive Shot and Volley up by 15 and 25%. That works for whatever build you're running. I mean, I run Volley in all my builds, so this is a huge, this is awesome to me. Now here's the juicy stuff here. Black Arrow damage up by 50%. Black Arrow periodic effect going up to 14 seconds instead of 10. Phantom Pain damage share to 24%. Bleak Powder by 100%. Withering Fire now prioritizes enemies that are not have Black Arrow on them. Okay, let's just look at this from a details point of view here. I'm going to put this up in the corner, and we're going to bring the notes right here. Okay, cool with that? Everybody cool? Here's what's happening. I'll bring this over here just a little bit. Bleak Powder did 7.2% of my damage on the dummies that I just tried it on. It's going up by 100%. 100%. Instead of it doing 23 million damage, it's going to do 46 million damage. It's going to be up here. It'll be my third highest damage. It's going to be at 14% of my damage. That's nuts. Just Bleak Powder. Black Arrow itself did 4.4%, up by 50%. It goes to 6.6%. So it's like up here somewhere, right? Up by Rapid Fire. Then you've got the Phantom Pain. This is insane. Phantom Pain, which basically says when you aim shot and there's black arrows on enemies, it does a portion of the aim shot damage to the targets that have black arrow on them. So the idea is to spread a bunch of black arrows and then aim shot kind of thing, and it does cleave for you for free. That did 3.5% of my damage on the testing dummies. That's going up by 3 times 3. It's going from 8% to 24%. 8, 16, 24. So we have to multiply this number by 3. 3.5, 7, 10.5% of our damage. Suddenly, it's up there with Master Marksman as well. Just like Black Powder would have been above Master Marksman there. Isn't that insane? Like, this is an insane amount of damage right here. Okay. The other big thing is that Black Arrow periodic effect is going to make it so that you're going to proc Shadow Surge more often. Shadow Surge just says your periodic damage has a chance to just do AoE splash damage. So if the black arrows are on there for 14 seconds instead of 10, you're going to be getting a lot more chances of proccing Shadow Surge, which means that Shadow Surge is going to go up by probably a few percentage points anyway. So every piece of shadow damage that you're doing in here is getting gargantuan buffs in this. So this is very interesting to me, very compelling. We'll have to see if it ends up being enough damage to make it as good as Sentinel. The only issue with the Dark Ranger tree, once again, is that you have to play around it. You have to modify your talent tree a little bit to pick up improved Death Blow and Razor Fragments to get the extra damage. But you don't have to give up too much, in my opinion. I'm giving up Small Game Hunter. That's the main thing that I got rid of. And then 1 point in Bullseye. And I put those 2 points here. So we'll see. I mean, it's not nice to have to give up these really important talents down here. But with the buffs that are coming in, it could be worth it. We're just going to have to wait and see. This is a gargantuan buffs, though, to Dark Rangers. So pretty cool. Arcane Mage getting buffed. Good. Frost Mage getting buffed. Good. Fire Mage getting nerfed. Good. It should have gotten nerfed a little bit more, probably, but whatever. Blizzard loves mages. That's okay. It's fine. Windwalker getting nerfed only because of the raid. They were insanely strong in the Undermine raid. That's why they're getting nerfed. Slicing Winds getting buffed by 20%. Kind of cool. Mistweaver is going down in damage, but they're staying the same in healing, if not going up a little bit. Okay? So they're losing 25% of their damage, which sucks, but they're transferring more of their damage into healing. Instead of 160%, it's 215%. And then the Jadefire, Awakened Jadefire is going up. Spinning Crane Kick goes up by 15% as well, which in my opinion kind of makes Dance of Chi-Ji a more compelling talent versus Jade Empowerment. I like Dance of Chi-Ji personally. It procs all the time when I was playing Mistweaver. It's really fun. So your Spinning Crane Kick is going to do even more damage, which is kind of cool. And the Awakened Jadefire, which transfers Spinning Crane Kick healing in or damage into healing, is going to be more effective. So a double buff there for Spinning Crane Kick. So the only real change happening to Mistweaver is their damage is going down. Their healing is going to stay the same. Brewmaster, all damage up. This is good. I mean, people just sleep on Brewmaster. If you go watch the Shaw on YouTube, he's like insane. He's an insanely good Brewmaster. He's pushing like plus 15 keys, I bet. Like, let me just see if I can get him. I'll just pull it up really quick here. Shaw, wow. Get him real quick here. Yeah, he's already doing like, what's he doing? Plus 13s, plus 14 rookery on his Brewmaster. Like, this guy is like very, very good. Probably the best Brewmaster in the entire world, probably. But like, yeah, he's already got a video on it being buffed. I mean, I think he's probably laughing right now because this is a pretty good bonus, and Brewmaster already did a lot of damage. So anyway, we'll see. Holy Paladin, here is the juice. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my my main healer. What's happening to Holy Paladin? Well, their throughput supposedly has been really bad. I would say that's not entirely true in Mythic Plus. In Raid, it's true, but not in Mythic Plus. What's happening? All healing up by 3%. Word of Glory to Eternal Flame up by another 20%. Oh my god. Let me just show you my Paladin for a second. We'll keep reading these, but oh my god. Like, this kind of blows my mind. Let me log into my Paladin. Like, these numbers are just hilarious to me. 20% more, and then all healing 3%, 20% on Eternal Flame and Word of Glory. Light of Dawn 20%. I'm still probably not going to press this button. It's just a bad button. The design of the button is bad, so we got to fix that. Wink, wink, hint, hint, Blizzard. Just make this Glimmer. Just give us Glimmer, and we have no AoE healing from Light of Dawn anymore. We just do Beacon and Glimmer. Please, just bring it back. That would be really cool. Let me just look really quickly at my how much healing my Word of Glory is doing, and let's just see. Oh, Eternal Flame's hitting for 2 million and 4 million. My Holy Shucks are hitting for like 6 million. So this is going to go up by 20%, this Eternal Flame. Like, I've had bigger ones. Like, go to the last key really quickly here. Eternal Flame, 3 million, 3.5 million there. Like, I mean, I'm getting like really juicy Eternal Flames already, and it's going to go up by 20% plus the 3% all healing. Like, I don't even know. I'm just going to be full healing people all day with this thing. Holy Prism, both AoE and single target, going up by 30% and 50%. Then Shield of the Righteous going up by 30%. This is a good change because Shield of the Righteous just doesn't really do enough damage, in my opinion. It's doing 9% of my damage, but that's going to go up, which is really nice. So I think that's pretty good. But honestly, guys, like, I don't know. Sometimes I think this is kind of funny. I did 618,000 damage overall in this dungeon, this plus 12 that I did. Plus 12 Motherload did 618,000 damage, like per second, right? As a Holy Pally. That's pretty good. Yeah, maybe it's not Mistweaver numbers, maybe it's not Disc Priest numbers, but it's not like that bad. So the fact that we're getting buffs, like these many buffs, it just kind of makes me laugh. Anyway, Shield of the Righteous, Prism going up big time. My only issue with this is that it kind of solidifies Prism as being the only talent that you can play anymore. Like, if you're never, ever going to choose Barrier of Faith ever. So they have to do some rework with Barrier of Faith probably, because it's just not happening. Holy Prism is just better on every front. So there you go. I'm very excited about this. This is cool. I think it's funny because I don't think Holy Paladin is this bad right now, but I'm more than happy to accept some buffs. I'm very excited about this. Ret Paladin, single target spender, final verdict up by 20%. That's good. Ret Paladin needs some single target love for sure. Holy Priest is getting a ton of buffs. An absolute gargantuan number of buffs here. And they're trying to tune Oracle to improve its viability, which is funny because they nerfed Oracle like 2 weeks ago. It's kind of funny. Anyway, it's fine. Prayer of Healing up by 25%. I still don't think you're going to press this button unless you're in raid. Maybe, but I don't know. Anyway, Prayer of Mending up by 20%. That's huge. Renew up by 60%. Come again? 60%? What? Lightwell 30%. Divine Image Healing, Divine Image Damage 20%. Holy Fire Damage 20%. Good. Renewed Faith increases the healing allies receive if they have Renew by 10% instead of 6. So you can like spam a bunch of renews and then do a big heal like a Sanctify, and it'll be 10% stronger. Empowered Renew is now like insane. So Empowered Renew currently buffs your Renew by 60%, but gives it a 12-second cooldown. That 60% is going to 120%. So pretty big buff there. It's doubling it. So your Empowered Renew does 120% more healing than a regular Renew would, but it's got a 12-second cooldown. Kind of cool though. Oracle, duration of Renew up to 40%. Healing and Prayer of Mending up by 40%, and it's getting another 20% here. So if you're playing Oracle, your Prayer of Mendings just got buffed by 35%. Pretty good, right? 35%. Right? 15, 20, 35. Yeah, pretty crazy. Now, this is a funny one down here. They literally nerfed this 2 weeks ago. They nerfed Smite, Holy Fire, Holy Nova in Oracle to 25%, and now they're rebuffing it to 40 again. So whatever. That's cool. It's great. I think Oracle's awesome. I wish Oracle was more viable because I think it's a really fun tree. Shadow Priest. All damage done reduced by 3%. I really just don't understand this. Because I'm seeing Shadow Priest in keys. I know Shadow Priest scales really well into higher level keys. I get all that, but I'm not seeing Shadow Priest destroying the meters compared to other people. Enhancement Shaman, Unholy DK, even my Marksman Hunter and a bunch of keys. Like I'm keeping up with those guys. So I don't really understand them getting a nerf here. I don't know what information the devs are going off of to give them a nerf and not give a nerf to like some of the other specs. Does that make sense? Disc Priest, Lenience nerfed by 1% there. So 33% of the value taken out of that. Atonement being nerfed by 3%. It's going from 35% to 32% of the damage done. This is a little bit more of a significant change than you might think, because in like a Mythic Plus key, for example, Discipline Priest, 60% of all their healing will be Atonement healing. So nerfing that by 3%, now you're nerfing a more substantial portion of their healing. This almost should just say all healing reduced by 2% or something. That's kind of what it's doing right there. So, yeah, a little bit more significant than it might look. Sin Rogue, the Nerebar Palace is getting absolutely turbo gutted because they really don't want you to use it anymore. Wink, wink. And all ability damage going up by 3%. Mutilate and Ambush going up by 40%. So you're getting a little bit of all damage, and then you're getting single target damage up by 40% on those two abilities. So that's pretty crazy to compensate for the fact that I guess people were just still using the Nerebar 2-piece. Ele Shaman, basically they're saying they want single target to be better for Ele Shaman. So Lava Burst, Lightning Bolt, Ice Fury, Frost Shock, and Primordial Wave are all going up. Primordial Wave is going up by 500%. If you read the tooltip, it says 150% spell power. 500% of that is multiply it by 6, which means you go to 900% spell power instead of 150. If I'm doing the math right, I think that checks out. Instead of Primordial Wave doing 150% spell power, it will now do 900% spell power. So that's a pretty big buff right there. And it could encourage people to play Farseer. I don't know, because you don't even take Primordial Wave right now. But if you play Farseer, you have to take Primordial Wave. So I don't know, maybe we could see a change there, but that's a pretty funny buff. Whenever you see buffs like this is like Diablo 3 back in the day. You know what I mean? You guys remember like Diablo 3 when it was like, your Earthquake now does 20,000% more damage. You're like, what? What does that even mean? But anyway, we'll see. We'll see what that kind of, how it shakes out. I'll do a little test next week when this goes live. Resto Shaman fixed an issue that caused Totemic Projection to apply insurance. They were getting more insurance procs than normal. And then they've buffed insurance to compensate for the fact that you're not going to be getting these free insurance procs anymore. This is pretty wild because Enhancement Shaman insurance is stronger than almost any other healer. For example, the insurance proc on my Paladin is 800,000 over 15 seconds. If you go to Shaman, it's going to be lower, right? Because it's not the right item level. Oh, no, it's good. 1.1 million. So their insurance heals for 1.1 million. Mine heals for 800,000. So they're better than me. The Preservation Evoker one is even lower, I think. It heals for 500,000 over 15 seconds. So the fact that they're buffing the insurance on by 30%, it's going to go from 1.1 million up to like 1.5 million. It's going to be even better. So they already have the highest insurance healing, I would say. Almost. I mean, Monk probably has better, but anyway. It's interesting that they're doing this. I guess this bug must have been really bad. Warlock, Demo up by 3%. Good change. I mean, Demo has not seen a lot of love right now because AF and Destro have just been better. They've been represented better from what I've seen. In Raid, there's people playing AFLOC, and they're like crushing the meters. It's kind of wild. So anyway, hopefully this gives Demo the love it needs. And then Prot Warrior is getting nerfed, and I think this is kind of weird because in the Race to Road first, Scott was like destroying Styx Bunkjunker. He was like the top DPS on Styx Bunkjunker for Liquid because he was abusing, I think, like a spell reflect mechanic. So it has nothing to do with any of these changes. Like, obviously, Prot Warrior is doing damage on its own. I get that. But, like, these changes are pretty substantial, and I don't see Prot Warriors in really any of my Mythic Plus keys. So this is a strange nerf, in my opinion. A little strange, but whatever. Nerfs all around for Prot Warrior. That's it, guys. Those are the big changes. I think for me, obviously, on Tuesday, I'm going to be trying out Dark Ranger Marksmanship Hunter. I'm going to give it a shot. And then I'm going to be looking at my Paladin and seeing like how this feels and all the damage and healing that I can do now. And it's going to be really, really fun. So, but the biggest one, some of the biggest winners, I think, are certainly Holy Priest is a massive winner. And then probably all the Hunters, we could say, are winners because they got massive changes here. And then, yeah, the Evoker stuff too. I think Dev is going to start to creep up, and you're going to start to see more Devastation Evokers just hanging out all over the place because Aug is still in a tough spot, and Dev has just been getting buff after buff after buff for like months now. So very cool stuff. These are very exciting changes. Finally, we're getting the patch tuning that we've been looking for. This is going to be happening on March 25th. That is the upcoming Tuesday from right now. So in a couple of days, it's going to be happening. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. We'd love to hear from all of you down there. I'm very excited about these notes and excited to get into the game on Tuesday. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love y'all. I'll see you in the next one.